All right. Welcome back, my friends. This is Real Estate Bites. We come at you live every Friday at the lunch hour. We're live here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter or X. And as usual, we're going to talk a bit about real estate news. Really, today, what I wanted to talk about was whether or not you should trust the real estate news that you hear. Okay, and you know how you should be very wary of the source of your news. I read an article earlier in the week that really, on top of all of the other bad news I've heard recently about what's going on in the real estate industry, this article, it just kind of set the tone for me and what I wanted to do with this program this week. So that's coming up. But before we get there, we look at this past week's real estate statistics. All right. So here we go. Episode number 37. Ending this week. This morning, as you can see, inventory bumped up by 21 units to 311. There were 59 closings this past week. The median square foot of those sales was 1,672 square feet a home. The median value was $233,500. The median square foot price was $146.55. You can see those three values, square feet, price, and square foot, all took significant jumps over the week prior. Average days on market this last week was 45. And all that in spite of a slowly climbing interest rate. This morning, the market woke up at 7.37% for a 30-year conventional note. Okay. The big sale of this last week was $794,500 in Columbia Station. Now, I always like looking at these Columbia Station big sales because they typically tend to have more character than the new builds that we see up in the northern part of the county and on the lake. And there's a lot of charm, especially a lot of country charm. So let's take a look at it. So as you see here, 794.5, 4-bed, 4.5 bath. The MLS had this listed as 4-bed, 2 half baths. 6,044 square feet is inclusive of the finished basement on a 3.5 acre lot, built in 01, 3-car garage, $131 per square foot, which was significantly below this week's median, and for that matter, the last 3-4 weeks median, it is significantly below median. Okay, let's take a look at this beauty. Nice brick and stone colonial Cape Cod. Look at that great room. Gorgeous. Floor to ceiling fireplace. Big, beautiful oak mantle. Oak finishes everywhere. As you can imagine, in 6,000 finished square feet, every room has space. Gotta love this room. This is the country room right here, folks. Look at the furniture. Love the furniture. Probably didn't come with the house, but love that furniture. Guessing this fella liked to get out there and shoot at animals. This is the outdoor patio with the outdoor fireplace. Beautiful place to sit and rest and relax during the summertime. Watch the ball game. There's the safe where he keeps all them guns that take down that bear. Multiple offices. Now, that's a mudroom, folks, right there. You got a place for everybody in the family's coats. You stack the gloves and the hats and whatnot up top, the shoes down below. Another look at that outdoor patio, formal dining, the theater in the basement. I mean, you don't see basements like this too often. Even if you got the home theater in the basement, right? How about the tray ceilings with the recessed lighting where they have the projector mounted, or the freaking Spartan helmet in its own little place inside there? That's pretty amazing. Yeah, awesome. Awesome home. Very, very good. All right. So before we move on to our topic of the day, It's this week's real estate meme of the week. This one made me chuckle when I saw it, mostly because very recently one of my team members ended up in this very position. How you doing out there, Lisa? Love you. Sorry to call you out on this one, but it's a damn funny story. All right, into the topic of the day. Again, so much news recently about real estate and the real estate industry and what's going on and what's happening. And I put up a couple of videos that push back against the mainstream narrative about what's happening in real estate. But the more I read, and every day I get Google alerts about the industry to try to stay on top of stuff. But the more I read and the more I learn, the more I realize that a lot of what we receive, it's just not accurate, especially for our market. And then there was an article I read on Yahoo Finance earlier in the week that really kind of set me off thinking about this. So in the moment, I went and pre-recorded a video, my reaction to that article and my discussion of it. So let me go ahead and tee that up for you right now, and we'll bring you into this short, it's about 6 minutes, and then we'll come back and wrap this thing up. So here is this pre-record I did earlier in the week after having read that article on Yahoo Finance. I found this article just yesterday. It came through on Yahoo Finance. And the reason I want to show this to you guys is because you got to understand, whenever you're watching the news and, even our syndicated local news, right, where they're just being given, AP stories that come from larger national news sources, you got to understand that when they talk about real estate, guys, they're not talking about us, and they're not talking about our market. Okay. None of these pundits are looking at the Cleveland market and talking, and they're not talking about us. Okay, so here's an example, right? So let me show you this article here that I found on Yahoo Business. Okay, so the title is "Realtor Describes the Shift That's Driving Real Estate Across the Board in Top Markets." Now they talk about top markets being the top 50 markets is where they pulled this strategy. Okay. But again, even if you just go by this headline and the brief bit of conversation they're going to have in the news, it's going to mislead you into thinking that there's a reality that doesn't actually exist. Right. And the whole gist of this article is that right here, renting is a better bet in markets across the US. Okay. So again, a big, bold statement that is, they're covering the nation with that statement, right? And so they've interviewed this realtor from Dallas here, this Roger Healy, who talks about the reason why renting is better because there's a rise in consumers who have a short-term business strategy. He says, I think it's shorter-term thinking. I think it's about just stacking chips and getting in, even if interest rates are 7.25%, which is what we're dealing with today. I think people are thinking short-term with business logic leading them versus emotional logic. And I think that really has shifted real estate all across the board. What? What's he talking about? It's just about stacking chips and getting in. What does he mean? What are they talking about? Okay, so the top 50 cities in the nation. Yeah, a lot of them are on the coast. Let's take a look here. This is a list of the top 200 by population in the United States. Okay. So yeah, we got a lot of the coast. And this is what the news is always talking about. They're talking about the coastlines or the big super trendy cities. But reality, can you say that renting is cheaper than owning in all these markets across the United States? First of all, is that how you guys feel out there? Let me know. Leave a comment. Is that how you feel in this greater Cleveland area, that renting is cheaper than owning? Not from what I see in the marketplace. Is that how they feel here in San Antonio, Texas, number 7, or Jacksonville, Florida? Is that how they feel in Indianapolis, right? How about Columbus? Okay. That's number 15 on the list with nearly 1 million. Is that how they feel in Oklahoma City, right? Louisville, Kentucky, Detroit. Is it cheaper to rent than own in Detroit? Tucson, how about Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Omaha, Nebraska, right? Here we get down, number 54 is where Cleveland sits, okay? And then Cincinnati is down there at 64, all right? So again, looking at this article where they talk about how much cheaper it is to rent than buy across the board, across the United States, guys, take a look at here. This is specifically an article done by, where is it at? Here we go. The Mortgage Research Center, the cost to buy versus rent in Ohio. Okay, so if you look down here, it is more costly to buy than rent in Columbus by approximately $360 a month, $50 a month. It's $364 cheaper on average to own than rent than it is in Cleveland. It's also cheaper to own than rent in Toledo, Akron, Dayton, and Youngstown. Not so much in Mansfield, Springfield, Canton. Okay, but the whole point being this, guys, if you want accurate information about the market, you're not going to find it on CNN. You're not going to find it on Fox News. You're not going to find it on MSNBC. Talk to a local professional. Come and talk to us. We who are working full-time in this market every single day, living and breathing real estate in your local market, we are where you're going to get your best source of information about what's going on. All right. All right. So I like listening to Robert Kiyosaki's podcast as much, if not more so, for his guests than the things he's got to say anymore. But I love Robert Kiyosaki. I consider him a hero figure in my life and a great American for the hundreds of thousands of people around the globe that he's educated and helped change perspective and grow their own wealth. And Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about fake teachers, right? He even wrote a book about fake teachers. And what he's talking about there are people who have, heavy-handed opinions or some sort of narrative about a particular industry, job, whatever, a particular subject, but they don't actually work directly in that subject or that job or that industry that they're having this opinion on. And so, I guess a final warning to you guys out there is when you're looking to do something, buy your first rental property, invest in an ETF, go buy gold or silver or whatever you're looking at doing, don't listen to people who have no experience in it. And you'll find, I guarantee you can point to many people in your life who will tell you exactly how you should run things in your life without any experience regarding the things that they're telling you to do. I still meet people who make suggestions about how to be a real estate agent and the way I should do my job with them not having spent a single hour in this capacity. And I don't say anything to them. I just let them talk because that's what they do. It's really all they do. But, before I bought my first rental, I had plenty of people tell me what it was going to be like, how awful it was going to be, or how great it was going to be, or without ever having purchased a rental. I had customers who they were would-be investors who were going to shop for their first rental. And we go look at a property and analyze it. And, then they'd say, well, my son-in-law was telling me this and this and this. And I kept hearing this. And I asked him finally, how many properties does your son-in-law own? How many rental properties? Well, none. So what does he know about it, man? But that's what this is about today. Okay, guys, beware of fake teachers. If you are looking for perspective, if you're looking for an education in a particular subject or job or lifestyle or whatever it is, go find somebody who's doing it and talk to them about it. Maybe spend some time with them in their shoes, learning about it before you jump in. Don't listen to people who have either never been involved with it or it's been so long since they've been involved with it that they're probably out of touch, right? When it comes to news sources, if you want a local perspective on real estate, right, or things happening locally, don't look for national news sources to give you any relevant information. Go find pros. Go find pros locally. That being said, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. I love you, people. Until next week, thanks for joining me.